Here we go. The story. Let's do it.
We need to talk about Ezra.
All right, guys. This one comes to us from Deadline. Zaslav, who happens to be the new CEO of Warner Discovery, if you didn't know that, has made clear his desire to grow the DC universe to the MCU scale and has all the ingredients of a first foot forward in TheFlash, if you don't know the Flash movie coming out, including the return of Michael Keaton's Batman, along with a reprise of Ben Affleck as Batman, with a $200 million budget and a hot director in Andy Muschietti. If you haven't seen It, he directed the It features, if you guys don't know who Andy Muschietti is. So the Warner Brothers Discovery CEO exercises well-known penchant for micromanagement by declining to greenlight the Wonder Twins movie. I don't know if you guys knew there was a Wonder Twins movie coming out, for being too niche, as well as he's made a decision that because of The Flash, Ezra Miller will no longer be working with Warner Brothers post this movie. It continues on to say, sources said even if no more allegations surface, the studio won't likely keep Miller in the Flash role in the future DC films. That would mean replacing him in the future, but there is still a $200 million investment on the line with the first film, and Warner Bros. Execs have been cringing at every new press release that Ezra is involved in. Okay, so you might be watching this, and maybe you're real small part of the minority and you haven't heard that Ezra... Okay, so about 2 years ago, Ezra was approached by a fan. And by the way, Ezra uses they, them pronouns. We're going to do our best to stick to that. The issue with Ezra obviously has nothing to do with things like that. We want to respect people who align that way. We're not trying to be disrespectful to Ezra in that way. I'm trying to disrespect Ezra in every other way. So about 2 years ago, Ezra was in like a Petco or some shit, and a fan of him from the DC films approached him, started play fighting him. So they continued to choke this fan and nearly bring them to an unconscious state over play fighting. That was just 2 years ago. What does Warner do? They don't do anything. They don't send him into rehab or send them into rehab. They don't approach them. They don't do anything to Ezra. Much like CEOs do. They're like, well, let's just roll it under the rug. People aren't going to know about that shit. It's fine. We already shot the whole movie, so we're fucked. And then just these last few months, 2 arrests in Hawaii, both violent offenses. Now it's coming out that there's allegations of grooming someone, and that's someone now being a full-grown adult. They've literally gone missing. Nobody knows where they are. They can't find them. They're literally on the run right now.
That is...
And to top it all off, there's a protective order against Ezra in, I think it's Massachusetts. I could be wrong. Something like that. I don't know the exact state, but there's a protective order against Ezra for a 13-year-old and their parent because Ezra threatened them with a gun under their parka coat.
They have gone off the fucking deep end.
All right. So let's start with you, Zane. And we'll talk more about the Flash and everything a little bit, because that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But first, Ezra Miller, your thoughts.
So the first thing, I had never even heard about the choking out in the Petco or whatever. The first thing that I had heard that kind of let me know that they were going off the deep end was the aftermath of the couple that they were staying with while they were in Hawaii. So basically it was they were out at a bar, got super drunk and belligerent, and then the fans.
This was in Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah, the fans who they had just met Ezra and they were like, hey, we're big fans. And Ezra was like, oh, hey, I guess they invited Ezra to stay with them.
Yeah.
And they're all out partying, acting a fool. Ezra gets belligerent, gets thrown in jail. They get them out and then take him back to their house. And then they come into the couple's room and Ezra's acting all weird, like being super aggressive with them. And then they kick them out and start like this whole big legal battle. And that's where it all started to go downhill. And I just recently heard about like all the grooming and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Ezra, during one of those situations in Hawaii as well, Ezra actually ran on foot away from the police. I mean, we're talking about someone who is...
The Flash?
Actually, yeah. Hey, how are you going to catch the Flash, baby? He's gone! He's running and he's gone. No, but seriously, because the Flash is a male character. Yes. Just saying. Not trying to disrespect Ezra. But back to the Ezra end of it. Ezra literally threatened to murder certain members of the Ku Klux Klan on Instagram not that long ago. I mean, there's a video of it. And, like, listen, that's based. Yeah, but I'm just saying, there was some seriousness, and then actually searched that area for the Ku Klux Klan in reality. We're talking about someone who is not well, who's in the public eye right now, basically destroying their whole career. Yeah. Now, Franny, what are your thoughts on the Ezra situation, it being that you've just been brought up to speed pretty much just
I mean,
now?
I didn't really know too much. I knew about the grooming. I knew there was like some allegations. Yeah, I mean, clearly he's a sick individual that needs help. It sucks that...
They are a sick individual, but yeah.
Yeah. It sucks that, like, their team clearly has failed them by, like, covering it
precisely up. Warner's in general, I mean, it's been such a fucking problem where they're like, well, we don't want to upset our movie. Our movie's coming out. We can't talk shit about Ezra in public.
Like, why the fuck is a movie more important than this person's well-being?
And even more so, the people around them.
Damn sure.
Ezra's a menace to society right now.
Yeah, for sure. It's really sad that it got to this point.
Especially with, like, performances like, you know, everybody always talks about Perks of Being a Wallflower. I know you love that movie.
I love that movie.
You literally, it's one of the only Blu-rays you added to the collection.
Yeah.
So I know you love that movie. I love We Need to Talk About Kevin.
I just finished the Fantastic Beasts series, which iffy ending to that trilogy anyway, but like Ezra in it, it was like, oh, that's super interesting.
I think there was supposed to be 5 movies, right? I don't know if that's still happening, but yeah.
Doubt.
Well, after all this, definitely not.
Spoiler alert. Skip 5 seconds ahead. They already killed him off. So, like, his character.
No. First of all, they killed him off in the first movie the first time anyway. Yeah. So who knows? He could come back anyway. That's not spoilers because it doesn't seem to mean anything. Also, yet again, the character's male, not Ezra. Doesn't go by he, them, or he his, whatever him. Pronouns. Yeah, he, him. Yeah. So. Yeah, all of that's super shocking. But then you have the second story kind of attached to it as a result. Yeah. Where DC has just been getting fucked over. And Zaslav, this great new CEO who's coming in, he's throwing down his axe left and right. Like people say, the axe of Zaslav. He's been going left and right, canceling bad projects. I mean, he's literally trying to sell the CW. And if you're a fan of CW shows and you haven't been paying attention to your show and whether it's canceled or not, I have something to tell you. It's probably canceled. Yeah. Because of Zaslav. So he's making... Yeah, I know, right? He's making big moves. And you're at this point now where there's this $200 million movie. And Ezra Miller doesn't just play one Flash in it, but 3. So... And it's got Michael Keaton in it as Batman. And it's the basis of what the rest... I mean, it is literally their Avengers. It's what's going to kick off the continuation of the DCEU. As it goes forward, like basically revamping it.
So are they going to do Flashpoint for the 5th time?
That's what it is. It's Flashpoint. It literally is Flashpoint, basically. Yeah. You say it for the 5th time. They've literally never done it in live action, but it doesn't matter.
They did it in the CW shows.
But never done it in a live action film, is what I'm saying. And this,
what I'm saying that
this is going to fuck you up. This movie has existed since before the Flash TV show started, and it's ending before the movie comes out. So... This Flashpoint film idea has been around that long. Yeah. So they didn't really steal it anyway, but I get what you're saying. It's been done.
Well, it's DC's big universe reset. It's a good way to bring people into the DC comics.
So it begs the question, what do you do? I mean, you can't have Ezra Miller go to press meetings for this movie. You can't do that. So what do you do with a $200 million movie where the main character is essentially the biggest villain right now in the public eye? And it's like, okay, it costs $200 million and it's going to kick off our entire DCEU. Do we shelve it because of the controversy? Do we put it on HBO Max where people still might get mad that they're trying to profit off of it in any way? Do they put it into theaters? Like, do they could possibly put another $150 million into the movie, reshoot the entire thing with somebody else. What would you guys do to fix this? Like, Zane, what would you do to fix this situation?
That's kind of the hardest part. It's like
literally the story that nobody's talking about, but that's where the Ezra stuff comes in for me. I'm not interested in talking about Ezra Miller's personal life other than how it affects films. This is directly affecting one of the biggest box office movies that's going to come out next year, if it will.
Because I've watched the DC universe fail so many times. And
it succeeded a couple of times. I mean, you got Aquaman did
Shazam.
great. Shazam did great.
Yeah.
The first Wonder Woman did really well. The second one did really good for HBO Max numbers.
Existed. I did not like.
Listen, I'm not saying I liked it either.
Yeah.
I'm talking about success rate, right? Like Justice League is a fail.
I mean,
it literally
Zaslav
failed in every
is my
way.
last hope to get like a proper Green Arrow on the big screen.
And Zaslav announced when he took over, when Discovery... See, he's such a good CEO. He took a company like Discovery, like TLC and shit. He took that company and made it so profitable that it was able to buy Warner Brothers. So we're looking at a CEO... Like, I'm not trying to, like, kiss up to a CEO somewhere. I'm just saying, when we're talking about making movies, I want people making the movies that I know will make good decisions. And I'm just getting that from this vibe of him taking Discovery and literally making it Warner Brothers. So he has already announced that DC will have its own studio under Warner Brothers, like how Marvel does for Disney. So that gives me a lot of hope. And he's bringing on Todd Phillips and some other people to kind of run it before they get their Kevin Feige-like figure, which might end up being Alan Horn. I know you guys don't know who that is, but if it is, it'd be really great. But what the fuck do you do with this movie?
As far as salvaging this movie, I think
$200 million.
I don't know if there's really a way.
I think the only
Well, if they drop like $150 million, which is a lot,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, if they drop $150 million, they get somebody they were talking about before, like Dylan O'Brien.
that would be fun.
They throw it, they reshoot what they have to, they make a new Flash. Could it make back its money? And would it even matter? Like, is it at that point just them being like, this is dead money right now, and our only option is to either throw more at it or shelve it? Because I cannot, like, I'm sure it will, knowing greed. I cannot see this movie going to theaters as it is.
If they shelve it, I don't know how they would move on. Either way,
Well,
the only
they
way they're
could
going to
potentially
get,
just go a different direction with the DCEU.
maybe, but yeah, it is such a like. It does feel like that's exactly what the DCEU needs, just a universe reset every time in the comics. Whenever they're like, "Oh, things have gone bad," universe reset,
And this movie,
and that's exactly what also lends itself to movies.
the movie's done. It's
Yeah.
done. The whole movie's done. Pre, post, all of it. The whole movie's finished. It is literally sitting and waiting to be released.
I mean, they might be able to add in pick somebody new like Dylan O'Brien. And,
A lot of people are rooting for Grant Gustin, but I think that's a dumb idea.
yeah, but add that to the end or something, or maybe just do the last 30 minutes of the movie, do reshoots where it's like, oh, it starts with this, we kill them off, and then boom, new Flash because of universe things.
I don't know.
And it's that might be the most cost effective while still getting you somebody that you can use, and it's not going to become a huge thing of oh, you spoiled the ending, because it's obviously they need a new Flash.
Sometimes when they fuck with an already made movie too much, though,
It fucking ruins it.
Yeah.
It ruins it. That's my other thing, right? So for me, there's only one way to salvage the film and make it better, and that would be just hard reshoots, pull in a new actor, do it all again. Because if they try to Frankenstein the Michael Keaton scenes out, or one person I heard was like, what if they called it Batman Flashpoint and just mainly exercised the Michael Keaton of it all? No.
Oh.
He's probably not in the movie nearly as much as Ezra is, being that Ezra's in it is 3 different fucking characters.
Yeah.
Franny, who would you recast as Flash? Because obviously they're not going to continue with Ezra after this movie. So who would you want to play the
I
Flash?
like Dylan O'Brien. That sounds
I
like
like
a good
Dylan
idea.
O'Brien. Dylan O'Brien
Yeah,
could be
might
cool.
fuck with that. I think that's fine.
A long time ago, before the writers' strike, Adam Brody was going to be the Flash way back in the day.
Now he's a little too old, but
Well, now he's in Shazam anyway.
Dylan O'Brien honestly just looks like he'd be a good fit too, and I think he'd be a good fit. I don't know though. Fuck, it sucks that this movie can't just come out as is.
It can. It might.
I don't know
Will you go see it if it does?
Yeah, probably. Separate the art from the artist, I guess.
So it's a tall order, but yeah.
Yeah.
And there might be some people that can do that, like separate the art from the artist. I think that it's going to be a really hard sell for a lot of people, though.
Right. Like, I don't know if I can, but I don't know. I probably.
No matter what, I think that all eyes are going to be on, like, Warner's Discovery to see how they proceed with this. Because they've already got so many other things that are kind of like little fires that they're having to run through and put out. So I have been liking seeing Zaslav like go through and do.
Yeah, I mean, on a Monday, a Wonder Twins movie was announced with KJ Apa and some other person, and by Thursday, the movie was dead because Zaslav took over on Tuesday. Yeah. So, he literally fired J.J. Abrams. He doesn't give a fuck. Yeah. He's going to do what he thinks is going to make the most money, is going to make the best content, and I think with this is the worst part is people who have seen the movie have said it's the best DC movie. How fucked is that? It has. It's in super high regard. They're referring to it as the Avengers movie that Justice League should have been. I'm just saying this from people who have said it in the industry, who have said like this movie's actually very good. So it's a little tragic, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think what Warner's is waiting to happen is I think they're not approaching it and being public about it and letting it happen because I think they're just hoping Ezra dies so they can capitalize off of it Heath Ledger style. I'm being dead serious. I know that sounds conspiratorial, but I think they're waiting out the clock a little bit.
If they drop dead, then like that.
I'll tell you what, Zaslav wouldn't lose any sleep, and that's fucked up. No offense to that. Maybe he would, but I'm not trying to. I'm talking about from a monetary perspective.
This is fucked up. That's fucked up.
But it's true. It's true.
Well, I don't want to. I'm not going to sit over here and be like, I'd lose sleep if we lost Ezra at this point. They're doing bad things. Bad things are happening.
I mean, we're talking about grooming children here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no,
I know. It's fucked up.
So, like, I wouldn't be that upset to see that happen. And the way that they are just like...
I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't be upset. What I am saying is I think, to a certain extent, Warner Brothers would be very excited if that happened. Because they're totally fucked. They are so fucked, it's crazy. I mean, that's got to be the biggest money pit film that they can't use ever. Ever in the history of filmmaking. It's got to be. $200 million is gigantic. Yeah. Anyway, is there anything else you guys wanted to add about this story? I feel like this one's just so dour. I'm ready to move on with my life. Yeah. Unless something insane happens with Ezra or the Flash project, honestly, I'm okay with us not talking as much about this. I just want people to find him. I want them to get the help that they need. And I want them to never return to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just being honest.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay. Well, guys, this was so much fucking fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like we totally nailed all of this. If you guys have any stories that you want us to cover or any updates on the stories that we've already told, because keep in mind, we're recording this Monday, June 20th or so.
Yeah.
There could totally be updates on all of these stories by the time this uploads, but we're not trying to be the news here. We're just trying to talk about it. Thank you, Zane, so much for being here. Franny, I really think we should rewatch Into the Spider-Verse for those of you who know. Guys, make sure to like, subscribe. We love y'all. Peace out.